right, gang, we're ready to kick this off.
Let's do this shit.
Let's fucking go. Welcome to the Lady J Meet Dudes. I'm Evan.
I am Tyler.
Yay! I'm Charlie.
So excited. Every time we do this, dude,
Chuckles.
Charlie is just so damn excited.
So excited.
Well, it is pretty exciting because today we're talking about our top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes. Bro.
Yes.
Big time. Charlie's like texting on his phone right now.
Yeah.
No, you guys kind of were semi-famous for pork here in Seattle.
I mean,
feel
it's
You
like.
mean
like
semi, bro?
Super famous.
Yeah,
like-
oh yeah, sorry.
Can't even go to the grocery store.
No, dude. I mean, like,
Just trying to get some chips.
well, back at Radiator, you guys were doing the whole beast feast where we're smoking. Basically, you're getting a whole pig in every single week, chopping that thing up, right? So, what did that entail? What was kind of the process of that before we get into smoking it?
Um,
The process of the pig.
Yeah, so you
What
get a
was
whole
it? Was
pig
it
in, right?
every
You didn't use the whole pig for the
Wednesday?
beast feast.
We needed a pig for pulled pork.
we needed a half for
And
the
s-
feast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we needed half for the feast.
Yeah, so the feast
Might as
was
well get a whole.
feast was half of a pig with the
Right.
whole pig head and all that good stuff, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you guys,
The
man.
feast was a whole shoulder.
Yep,
Trotter on. We get all
yep.
crinkled up and crazy.
Okay.
That was pretty dope.
Dude, I had that beast feast like probably 5 times.
It's a lot of fat.
Dude, I was done with pork for a little bit after that,
Yummo.
man. It was so much.
You gotta turn it off. Have
Dude,
some
I went
vegetables
ham,
after
dude.
that.
Yeah, when I was like, because I left Radiator, then I came back into the beast feast, and I was so excited. I was like, dude, let me fucking get into this shit.
You brought some squads in there.
I did.
You squatted up for that.
Dude, I hit that thing hard, but we don't do that anymore. But we're gonna talk about our top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes.
Top 5.
So, top 5, baby. But you know what's crazy is we're not even talking about pork ribs. Pork ribs didn't even make the cut. You know why? Because we like to utilize the whole animal, everything. So we're going to talk about other things besides your typical pork ribs. I was actually on a phone call with somebody from Georgia this morning, and they were pissed off. I was like, we're not even talking about ribs. And then she got pissed off at me. But
Why?
because she's like, Georgia, dude, they love ribs down there.
course.
That's all they do, you know. But I was like, well, you know
Like,
what?
some people think there's only ribs on a pig.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I said. I go. So many barbecue restaurants only talk about brisket and pork ribs.
And
So
chicken.
yeah. So we're gonna do it a little bit different because we are Seattle barbecue. We do it a little bit different here. So let's hop into our first one. You guys do this a lot. Let's talk about pork cheeks.
Yes.
So what? That's Charlie's favorite, obviously.
I'm not going to talk about pork cheeks. Charlie is going to talk about
He is going all in on pork.
They're the best.
cheeks.
So it is crazy when you guys when
It's
we
this
see them. Yeah, where's it out? Where's it out on the
On the
pig?
face.
On the face.
Yeah.
It's not the
But it's not
ass
like
cheek.
it looks like a nugget, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's called a medallion.
It's called a
It's
medallion.
like
That's sexier than a
it's
nugget.
like the muscle.
Yeah.
Let me show you on your face.
Yeah, will you point it out
Yeah,
for the
it's
YouTubers?
It's right here.
Right there. Okay, beautiful. I love it when you touch me. So,
Yeah. Ugh.
so this guy.
Lot of
So
hugs
what does it
going
taste
around
like? I mean, what's the texture, and how do you prepare the pork cheek?
It's very dense muscle with a lot of fat in the inside.
Why is it dense?
Because animals chew a
Yep.
lot.
It's working.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
working all
works
day, right?
long.
Right?
Yeah.
So it takes a long time to break it down. So it's a slow and low cook.
Mhm.
That's how we do it.
Cheeks, pretty much around the world, are the delicacy. Honestly, like
They're
what
the best.
halibut cheeks, salmon
Yeah.
cheeks. Like we used to do salmon cheeks. You know, they were like that big.
Yeah.
King salmon, big,
Like the-
huge fish.
How big's how big's a king salmon cheek?
Like
Like a quarter.
like it's the size of
A
Yeah.
fat quarter.
a rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
or a rock, a quarter
you-
or a rock. I like
and,
the quarter
and you're like
better.
you're kind of like chiseling out the little cheek, and you're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna save this for him.
Dude.
One amuse bouche.
Why do you think it is the delicacy like around the world? Just because it's
I mean,
got a
halibut
lot of
cheeks,
fat.
beef cheeks, pork cheeks, veal
Collagen,
cheeks.
fat.
It's that luscious, silky texture when it's all done breaking down.
yeah.
It's just so good.
So when we do cheeks here, I get here, after Charlie, probably about 10 a.m. and they're already on, right? Because they take a while.
Yeah, we kind of do them in the same way as you would do ribs. We
Yeah.
do them like the 3-2-1 sort of style. That's
So
kind of the
what's
idea behind
3-2-1?
it. 3 hours in the smoke, 2 hours wrapped, and then uncover them, and then cook them for another hour.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the general rule.
Nice, dude.
And it works out pretty good, so that's what we do.
3,
Okay.
2, 1.
3, 2, 1, dude. And it's crazy when I go back there and I open up the smoker and there's all these cheeks on there. Like, it is still weird to think about. Like,
Yeah.
wow, how many cheeks are on a pig?
2 cheeks.
Two
on
cheeks.
one
Cody.
pig.
On
No
one
matter
pig.
how big the pig it is, there's only 2 cheeks.
That, dude, yeah. We do a lot of pork cheeks. So, what are some cool dishes? I know we do like pork cheek kind of burnt end style in the barbecue sauce. What are some other dishes that we like to do with the pork cheeks?
Charlie likes to feed them
Oh yeah,
and make
we did
like
do
a
that.
smashed cheek, like torta.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a carniza style.
Style.
Yep. What about the?
We did a braised one back in the day. We used to put on top of mac and cheese a long time ago.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you might have just opened
Mac
up the floodgates for the mac and cheese,
Mac
bro.
and cheeks.
Mac and cheeks. That was dope. Yeah, the mac and cheeks, and then the pork belly pork cheek banh mi. We'll do that.
Yeah,
we'll flip
the
that in,
sandwich.
right?
Yep.
Pork cheek banh mi.
Yep.
But that's like a burnt end style, 3, 2, 1 style in
Yep.
the banh mi sandwich. Okay, man.
To be clear,
Yes.
our cheeks are really,
Clean.
really nicely clean. So,
So-
one of the obstacles of cheek preparation is having to clean them.
Yeah.
Beef cheeks specifically are
There's a lot of
fucking hard.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff connected to a beef cheek.
Dude,
Yeah,
beef
so
cheeks
the-
are big.
The beef cheek sits and
Yeah,
there's
they're
a
big.
flap
Like pancakes.
that goes under the jaw,
Okay.
and it's just kind of this really weird little sinewy looking piece that you got to trim off.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by sinew and connective tissue and stuff. Think about how it sits
Yeah.
connected to the skull. So we're lucky enough to get pretty decently cleaned up cheeks. So that's one of the luxuries that we have with our company is that
Yep.
they do it for us.
So if you were to get a head in here
Mhm.
and pull out the cheek, how hard is it to kind of butcher that?
That's not too bad.
Not too
It's
bad.
not that hard, but you would
we
you
can
would
do it later.
for a whole pig head you would get maybe 4 ounces of meat, 4 ounces of cheek meat.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude.
And trying to make money off of something like that, you would do like the jowl, cheek meat off. So you keep that jowl and make guanciale or face
Hey,
bacon,
we're-
as we
we're
like to
gonna-
call it.
Don't spoil it, man. We might get into a pig head
Oh,
later. So,
all right,
you know,
all
that,
right, all right.
that could be on the list
Dun,
of our
dun,
top
dun.
5.
It's quite a teaser, bro.
Dude, I'll do that a little bit.
Okay.
So, wrap up the pork cheeks. Super tender if you cook them slow and low. Kind of versatile, because
Yeah.
in really a delicacy if you can do them right.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
You can go
The
old
best.
school, make
Right
a really
there.
nice ragu out of
So
them, like pasta sauce.
Really good in ramen.
Italian style.
really good
After
in
they're
ramen.
cooked.
Now, I might like ramen
Mhm.
if you put some pork cheeks. in
smoked
there
pork
for
cheeks and ramen,
Yeah.
delicious.
Like perfectly cooked, not fall aparty. Still have a little bit of a bite to them,
That's
just
what-
floating in the bowl
Yes.
of ramen.
And that's what you want, right? You want a little bit. You don't want them to be just fall
Yeah.
aparty,
Right,
right? You want
right.
them to have that.
I mean,
Right.
with all kind of, unless you're doing pulled pork, you kind of want a tiny bit of texture when it comes to most all barbecue.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. All right. Pork cheeks, a definite winner here at Lady Jaye. Let's jump into another one that we do a lot of here. Number 2, pork belly burnt ends.
Pork
So,
belly. I mean,
How do they do? Oh, let me ask you this, because a lot of people associate, beef burnt ends. So how is pork belly burnt ends different from like a beef burnt end?
it cooks a lot faster for one.
Yep.
Way more fatty.
Yep.
It's pork and not beef.
Oh, there you go. What part of the? Is it like brisket burnt ends? Or like what part of the
What do people typically use for beef?
for beef burnt ends? Yeah.
They're brisket, or
Brisket.
sometimes chuck, but mostly brisket.
Mostly brisket. Yeah.
You can, I guess, do it with a navel. I don't think a lot of people do, but we could try it.
Yeah. So for pork belly burnt ends, what's the process of cooking those bad boys?
Same.
Same
Same.
thing, right?
Same as the
Yeah.
cheek. It's just a different
But how's it different?
texture. I mean, layers of fat to muscle, not inner.
Like outside fat, right?
Yeah, not inner muscular fat.
Yeah, I would
content,
say it's
right?
probably 2 times as much fat as a cheek,
Yeah.
if not more.
Okay, but good fat, right?
Yeah, we're talking about
Well, I
cubes of belly bacon, basically, right? Cubes of bacon.
Yeah.
Cubes of bacon. That's a
Think
good
about
fat, bro. I'm down for that, man. Dude. And so what are some cool pork belly burnt end dishes that we do here?
It's kind of the same as the cheeks.
Yeah, we do the-
really.
Pork belly, but I mean, we do it a lot without being burnt ends, right? We do
Right.
it kind of in the style of brisket sometimes too.
Ooh,
Pork belly.
How is that? What do you mean?
So we cook it low and slow for a long time
Yep.
in large chunks,
Yes.
and then we slice it to order.
That's the slabs you're talking about.
Yeah.
Slab.
Pork belly slabs.
So, yeah, people call it belly as brisket style. You call it, I don't know.
Ooh, we
barbecue
should call
belly.
it that. That sounds better.
I don't know.
Belly
It is what it
style
is.
Brisket. Back in the day, we used to do the almost Korean style one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Tons of dehydrated garlic, mustard, sriracha, brown sugar, salt, soy sauce,
Where was that at?
yellow mustard.
We did it here.
We've
when
done it
we
here
first
a
opened.
couple times, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was like
We
one
did
of the
it
original
kinda
kind of
everywhere.
OG belly dishes, that Radiator.
Yeah.
It's good, and then you smoke it and then cover it and slow roast it, and it's almost the same as the brisket kind of style.
Yeah.
You can chill it at that point and then slice and sear off slabs of it.
Ooh.
So you can put it over rice dishes, put it in a sandwich,
Ramen.
put it in ramen.
Yeah, I mean, I think
over
belly
greens,
belly is better if you're gonna chill it down and then slice
and
it because
re-sear it.
it's way easier to warm up pork belly
You think
as
about all-
opposed to some other stuff because there's so much fat in it.
yeah, and
Oh.
that fat's getting to the point when it's cooked that much to where it's super duper jiggly. So you really gotta know how you're slicing, and your slicing technique has got to be on point if you're gonna do that like we do it with the slab brisket style.
So how would you slice it?
Cross the grain.
Across the grain,
Always.
big
always.
long slicer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
get that rocker motion.
Yeah. I think I sliced some slabs when I was
You
back
know-
there in the kitchen. with
You know
man.
about that, chef.
Dude.
Chefing
Thank
it.
you, chef.
Chefing it.
I love it, dude. So pork belly or pork cheeks for you, Charlie? If you had to choose one,
Cheeks.
you choose the cheeks.
yeah.
What about you?
Depends on the day, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I've
think-
always been a belly fan, but
Yeah.
I remember the first time being introduced to cheeks. Period was in an Italian restaurant. And
Mhm.
I think it was beef or veal. I can't quite remember, but that first time you tasted texture and that,
good
like,
cheek.
you're like, because cheek kind of freaks people out.
It
That,
does.
it's just like, wow, it's one of those
does.
weird muscles. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's dope.
No, yeah, I probably would have said belly, but I think the last pork cheeks we did here, the burnt ends, we did them a couple Saturdays ago, and I
Mhm.
had one, and I was like,
So
"Aw,
good.
damn, dude, like
Yeah.
that was nuts, man." So, all right, moving along, dude. This one, Charlie, you can go do whatever you like.
Nice.
Here.
I'm gonna get some coffee.
Go get a little refill here, because this is our number 3, the Copa smoked pork Copa. So, Tyler, what is the Copa? Where does it come from?
Copa actually translates in Italian from the head.
From the head.
That's what it is. So I just call it Copa anytime I use it, just because that's where I first learned it. And it's the muscle that connects from the back of the neck into the heart of the shoulder. So kind of like what we would say would be the chuck eye that would turn into Delmonico. Same sort of heart of that muscle.
Yep.
Other people call it the money muscle. There's a
Collar.
cluster,
The collar,
a
right?
collar.
Yeah.
There's a cluster of different muscles in the shoulder, and they all kind of start from that copa and dissipate through the shoulder.
Yeah.
The beauty of the copa muscle is the fat to meat ratio, which we've talked about plenty.
Yes.
And you can cut steaks out of it, which I did yesterday for
Mm-hmm.
a customer. You can do whole roasts and slice it super thin. You
Yeah.
can cure it. You've heard other capicola is a Italian cured meat,
Okay.
right? That hangs and it's like salami, but it's called capicola.
Yep.
That comes from the copa. What else? What other?
Well, when we
beauty
smoke it
comes out of
here,
it?
when we smoke it though here, like what? It's kind of like it looks like almost like a big roast when we throw it on there, right? 'Cause
Mhm.
It's like a big neck muscle, right?
3.5 or so pounders,
Yep.
sometimes bigger.
3 to 5 pounds.
I'd
I'd
say
say.
3 to
I thought they were
5.
bigger. Okay. Yeah.
Depending, some of our ones that we've been getting from CN lately doing that have been pretty large, but there is quite a bit of a fat cap on those too, which is the fat cap's luscious.
And you don't cut that, right?
I like to leave it on.
Okay.
Some people ask for me to take it off if I'm
Yeah.
selling it in the meat shop,
Okay.
but it's goody stuff. It's,
So when we smoke it on there, what's the kind of the process with that?
really just looking for that internal temperature of just before it wants to pull. So 189, 192.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
it's kinda
And then a long,
brisket
long
rib
rest.
style,
And
Yeah.
then
kinda? Yeah.
rest.
I mean, I
right?
guess
Because
you
there's so
could.
much intermuscular
You
fat.
probably
Yeah.
could just cook it to 145, 150.
And then
It'd be edible, but there'd be a lot of fat.
Yeah.
The fat wouldn't have time to render out.
a
But it
couple
would
of those
still
muscles
be good, I'm sure.
in there might be a little chewy
See.
too.
Yeah.
But also the same thing that we said about the belly is you could take it to that 150, 160, chill it, slice it, and then sear it.
Yeah, you could
to
do that.
order,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
On your flat top or in a pan, or even toss it on your grill and grill
Yeah.
it up, and you would like finish that cooking. So you're gonna take it to a certain level, chill it, slice it, and then take it to the next cook level.
So I like I guess I want to explore the resting, because you hear that a lot, right? Rest your meat. So if I just grill a steak, you put it off to the side, you let it rest, right? Obviously. But when you're letting like a brisket or a collar, copa, or some larger meat rest that needs to take like hours to rest, right? Like, I wouldn't just suggest you just leave it on your counter,
No.
right? Like my mom would fucking kill me. She'd be like, "No, you're gonna kill somebody," right? So how do you let things rest for long periods of time? And is there an oven,
Yeah.
smoker?
So you set your oven for the lowest temperature. Hopefully it's around 150 or so. Put it in there. Let it rest.
Just let it rest,
Let it rest.
because it's at a 150 and you're smoking it to 180, 190, 200, right? And so it's technically it's not gonna overcook that meat in there.
No.
Probably not, because it's
No.
Okay.
No, and there's a whole, theory of carryover cooking. You learn
Yeah.
that a lot when you're a kid coming up in a restaurant and if somebody orders a mid-well steak, you bring it up to a high temp of a medium and then let it rest, because what's happening is all the juices are still flowing in the muscle and it's going to carry over.
Yeah.
That's not really the idea here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you can just wrap it in foil or toss it in, let's say, you're at home at your mom's house and she pulls out the Pyrex pan or whatever,
Yeah,
the baking
for
pan.
sure.
Toss your mussels in there, wrap them, put them on the back side of the oven area, just kind of let them chill.
Wrap
Cooler.
with the foil, right?
In a cooler.
Cooler's a good one.
too.
Without ice, of course, because it's
Yeah.
going to just keep the heat inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an old school technique.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a cooler in their garage. It's one of the old stinky ones your dad used to pack his lunch in or whatever.
Right? You put a little
There's-
hot water in the bottom of that thing.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure your thing's wrapped up and put it in the cooler.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long would you let your pork collar rest for?
2 to 3 hours,
A couple
probably,
hours.
ideally.
Couple hours.
So how
for
long are you
sure.
smoking it for?
Depends on your temperature and your time.
7,
and
8
all
hours,
that.
probably.
So 7, 8 hours. So it's like really we're talking 10 plus hours, on smoker. So that's not including your time to get the smoker up to temp, your prep for it. So if you want to do this for a dinner, you're looking at what? You're looking at starting this bad boy at 8 a.m. 8, 9 a.m.
If not earlier, yeah. Depending on what time you're eating dinner, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, there's preparation days before.
I mean, we start them
Right.
at like 6 a.m. to be ready by 4 p.m.
To be ready by 4. Because we open at 4. We want that to be ready and sliced.
Yep.
So we'll
Yeah.
brine them 24.
Yep.
Ideally, pull them out, let them air dry 24.
Yeah.
If this is really what you're going to do at home.
Uh-huh.
And then you have whatever idea you have concocted for your dish. You're going to do some sort of mustardy schmear, favorite rub on there,
Yep.
and then get after it. And then when you do that, you can also leave that in the fridge for a whole nother 24 hours to get that
Get that
tacky
crunchy.
pellicle,
Yeah.
right?
So what
So-
rub do we use when we do this one?
Generally 19, but
And
we've changed it up a little bit.
19
here
is
and
our kind of base pork barbecue kind of rub.
there. That's
Yeah.
our Erting.
Yeah, irritating.
Erting rub on.
We use a little lady spice on that too. Have we done it with the lady spice, or is that better on other cuts?
We typically don't do it on that because that has a higher salt quantity in it.
And so
So
what
if
does
we're
that
going to brine it and then add
Oh.
more salt to the outside, it could tend to get a little over salted.
Okay.
So
So
that's
is
why
the
we
lady
do
spice
that.
for something maybe you shouldn't brine?
Right.
That you're not going to brine? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Funny you should say that, Sierra. One of our favorite rock star employee
You mean
here.
the rock star?
The rock
Sierra, I
star.
know who you're talking about.
Took her earpod out yesterday. She said, my friend got some ribs and she's going to use 19 spice on it, and she's asking if she should salt it first or if there's enough salt level in the rub. I'm like, no, that rub's perfect.
There you go.
Come on. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's that kind of thing. You have to take all that stuff into consideration as if you're going to use a rub and you're going to brine.
Yeah.
You know, your brining is going to make it salty and sweet already, so you have to have that balance in your rub so it's not overly salted.
That'd be a dope thing
That's
to put on our labels.
That's a lesson,
too.
right?
Like creating labels for the rubs. Maybe we should mention a couple of those things. Like this one has. I mean, obviously you'll see what the ingredients are. You'll see that there's salt in there, but preferred, don't brine or whatever. That'd be kind of cool to put on there, a little extra info for these people.
Probably, yeah.
I like it, dude.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's another good one. So that was number 3. Jumping into number 4, our top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes. Number 4, porchetta. Ooh, man, we do some porchetta. Man, I love it when we do porchetta. I love it most of all because I get to see the whole process of getting the bellies in. You guys, putting the sausage in there, wrapping it up, spicing it up, smoking it. It looks cool. The whole process looks cool. It seems like it's fun, and tying it up and all that good stuff. And then when we slice it, man, it just makes people so happy. It's just such a beautiful, amazing, rich dish. So starting off, what is porchetta, and how does our porchetta differ from maybe a traditional porchetta?
That's a huge variation in question right
Yes.
there.
Okay, so we have
What is
only
the
a few minutes.
what is the original porchetta? You'd say
It's like a full boned out suckling pig.
semi-boned suckling. So the arm bones and trotters are still in. The head still has all its bones in.
Oh, really?
The legs have
Probably the H bone
probably
removed.
the H bone out, so the hips would probably still be intact. But otherwise, you open it and debone ribs and everything comes out, right? So it's just this floppy
Like
skin
bag.
skeleton.
Yeah, like a bearskin rug, but a pig.
But a pig. It's
Oh,
opened up, right?
Oh my God, really?
So now,
Is that hard to do?
Yes.
yeah,
That seems like it would be really
there's
tough to do.
there's some technical cutting required.
Wow.
So everybody says like, oh, this is porchetta, this is porchetta. Anyway, the whole basic idea is Tuscany, I believe, is where it originated, and it was almost like roadside food truck, where they'd have this
Rotisserie.
whole pork on a
Yeah.
rotisserie outside over coals and whatever, and just slowly crackling the skins on there and getting all bubbly and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So technically, it could be different over in this neck of the woods and different over this neck of the woods, but basically it is garlic, toasted fennel, chili, salt, black pepper, aggressively rubbed on the inside, and
Yeah.
then you wrap it up and sew it shut,
Yeah.
right? So it's more or less all that loin, belly fat, blah, 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 is all
Sausage.
in there. No sausage.
No sausage. Okay.
So that was our differentiation.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
sort of the
I
long
jumped the
answer
gun.
to your question.
Yeah, I
is
jumped the
that's
gun.
how ours differs.
Okay.
So we don't
It's
do
just
a
spices.
whole,
It's just the spices inside of basically all the good parts of the pig.
and just a slow roasted rotisserie suckling pig.
That sounds good.
Right, so when you pull up and you're like, oh, porchetta, they'll just kind of chunks
Cut you big chunks.
in cups, and off you go
Okay.
down the road, and there's some crackling, chunky pieces of skin in there, all kinds of goodies. So we originally, that whole idea of the breaking down the whole hog, we did we do 2 and then sell one as a special? We did.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we were like, tried to be a little bit different, right? So debone the whole animal and have loin, belly, skirts, everything intact. So the belly itself is like way bigger than you would just go buy a belly, because the loin's intact and all the other little goodie bits inside there. So then we would stuff it. We'd season it with our own variation of that fennel, black pepper, skiddly dough. Stuff it with sausage, and then roll it up. So you got loin, sausage, belly, like it's beautiful. Once you
Yeah.
slice it in half, it's just got
That's
this
what you
really.
guys did.
That's what we do, and
Wow.
and we actually call it kind of like ham ketta,
Okay.
because it's that because we brine the meat and the skin doesn't take on that crackling because we have the sugar.
back in the
content
day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're gonna have that crackly skin, you don't want to brine it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you guys brine.
We
the
brine.
bellies,
We brine that whole
the
piece.
whole piece. Yeah. Okay.
And then
So it's a big.
Pull it out, let it dry, do our rub, stuff it.
But that was 7 years ago.
That was a long
Yeah.
time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we just get extra wide bellies from CN
Yeah.
and make our own sausage, make our own rub. Just tie them up, let them sit overnight. They will literally almost glue back together because of the freshness of the grind of the sausage. And then we just slow smoke them, rub the inside, rub the outside, slow smoke them. So it's like, it's delightful.
Dude.
People like it a lot.
That's what I know porchetta as, is just what you guys do. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if I go, let's say I went to somewhere in the States and said, hey, I want a porchetta sandwich, what would I get out of that? Would that be like the same style, or do you think it would be like they actually deboned the entire pig?
No.
They probably didn't do
Nobody's
that.
doing that except for in Italy, you said?
I mean, there's probably some places in the States.
So most
Maybe,
people probably
I
are
don't
doing
know.
that stuff.
Most
Okay.
people are just probably using saddle, belly.
Right,
Okay.
rolling it up,
Yeah.
almost like pancetta,
Yeah.
like not even stuffing it or whatever. There's like slow.
But I
roasted,
think
crackly
typically
belly.
it would have crispy skin on the outside. Hopefully,
yeah,
Okay.
if they're gonna do it, not in a smoker.
in the classic style of
Yeah,
porchetta.
the skin is kind
the
of a major-
Skin's gonna be bubbly and crunchy.
Yeah, okay. So you guys take that whole piece, you've rolled it up, you've stuffed in the sausage, and then rolled it up, then you tied it up. Now we toss it on the smoker. How long do we smoke those for?
Oh, dude, they take for
They're
a
big.
while.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're big. They're like, what? They're like 2.5 feet, 2 feet long?
I mean, typically a belly is
Probably.
11 pounds for probably close to 15 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
They take probably 7 hours,
Yeah.
I'd say, to get them
And
up
then
to
we
165.
We gotta, because the sausage.
Up to 165.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
internal temp for that sausage, you want to make sure that sausage is cooked, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to. This is not one of those pieces of meat that you
Can undercook.
medium.
Yeah.
The sausage is not gonna be eating medium.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
yeah, you got to take it all the way up to that 165.
So it's a big circular freaking piece of meat here that you've wrapped up, and then when we slice it, and what in like that big circle, what do you get in that big in like if somebody gets orders the porchetta dish, what is actually in that big old circle?
Belly,
Yep.
loin, sometimes skirt, depending on where it is.
Exactly.
Yep. And sausage.
Yeah, sausage, pork sausage,
Yeah.
pork garlic sausage,
So what does it taste like?
smoke and fat and garlic.
Smoky, fatty, belly,
pork.
Pork, fat,
porky.
garlic. It's nice and rich.
It's rich.
It's
dude.
rich. I like that dish. It's
For the
super
the
rich.
real pork fans of LJ out there,
That's
they don't miss porchetta day.
That's going all in. Like you're getting
You're-
everything.
And it's a slab. It's
Yeah.
a chunk.
Yeah.
It's a commitment.
That's cool, man. We love that, man. No, I mean porchetta. I think we do it so well here, and God, man, it looks so beautiful. Like I said, sell the hell out of it. We always pair it. Like you probably don't want to just have like pork and French fry or porchetta and French fries, right? You want to have some
Pickles.
sort of pickled element. in
Yeah,
there, right?
pickles, maybe some
Cut
lettuce.
the richness. Yeah, maybe get a little bit of vegetables.
Bowl
in
of
there.
gravy.
yeah. It's not something your bolognese. All right. So that's number 4, the porchetta. Closing out here, the 5th one, the top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes from Lady Jaye. Whole pig head. Maybe not from Lady Jaye, but that's what you guys are kind of famous for, smoking that whole pig head. Let's talk about that process after this truck fucking gets out of here. God, look at all these damn trucks, man. Jesus Christ.
I don't even know where that one comes from.
Oh my God, yeah. Where's that check even coming from? This is real life restaurant right here. Probably have to write a check soon. Okay, so let's talk about it. The whole pig head. You guys, I know when we were at Radiator, you guys were doing the whole pig head. Why'd you start? Isn't there a funny story to start out why you guys wanted to do that pig head?
How offensive do you want me to be?
Not super offensive. Like
On a scale of 1 to
60%,
10.
6.
7 it is.
I knew you'd go. I knew you'd go higher.
I knew you'd say 6.
Tyler 6. Yeah.
6, you little wussy.
Jeez.
So Charlie and I teamed up and opened this place in the Pike Place Market, and it was kind of our first venture together where we were, I'd say, kind of being kind of punks and a little bit renegade and not doing what everybody else was doing.
Yes.
in Seattle, we want to do something totally different, and we want to
Yes.
do huge, grotesque chunks of meat and just like in your face kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
We wanted that
You did.
double wow factor.
You did that.
And
yes.
like tater tots, like why not? You know, everybody who doesn't like tater
Bro,
tots?
I ate so many.
Boomstick.
tater
How many
tots.
tater tots you eat in Vegas? Piles. Don't lie. Don't lie. He's from the Midwest. So we were also kind of like working crazy long hours to get this place up and running. It was just the two of us. And I think we were pretty crusty by the actual day that we opened.
Yeah.
So we were also a little bit aggro. And we had to do this event for all of the food writers and bloggers and whatevers of Seattle, right?
course,
So we
yeah.
were like, screw these guys coming in here telling us if it's good or not, and this is, this was
Yeah.
our first like, whatever. Charlie's like, let's do something fucking weird.
Something ridiculous.
Okay. So we ordered all these pig heads split down the middle.
Yeah. Yep.
So we did half of pig heads, brined and smoked, and on this platter with
Yeah.
like garlic toast and all kinds of different like mayo and schmears and pickles and shit, and like eyeball
Yeah.
sticking out,
Yeah.
ear all crispy, like teeth, gnarly, dude, teeth
Yeah.
like sticking out. And we were like, dude, this is messed up. We went and
remember
bought
the
all these,
teeth,
we went and bought
dude.
all these cutting boards, and we were like, I think there was probably like, I don't know, 25 people at this dinner. We put 13 half pig heads out, and
Dude.
us we were both going like, ha ha, suckers, right? No, they were
No.
like, ha ha, suckers.
They
This is
loved it.
dope. This is like the most photographed piece of food in the city.
Yeah.
The food writers went crazy for it. So we then were like, shit, man, we got to do this every day.
Let's put this on the menu.
So we did what, 3 to 5 or 6
Yeah.
half smoked pig heads every day. So it got to the point where we wouldn't ever not sell them. People would call like
Yeah.
weeks in advance and reserve a pig head.
Yeah.
Right.
That was.
I think they're
Which-
still doing it to this
Yeah.
day.
I think they are
10
still
years
doing
later.
it. Yeah. I think
Oh,
they.
I'm sure.
I think they are
10 years
still
later.
trying to do it as good as we used to do it. I don't know.
I'm sure they're doing great.
That also started the eyeball shot.
God, the eyeball, man. Which
So-
doesn't, explain the eyeball when you bite into it.
Gross. It's like a warm gumdrop.
But it doesn't like explode.
You know the little gumdrops?
It just kind of just.
But these are the bigger gumdrops. You know the bigger ones that like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
take a bite of, you don't pop the whole thing in your mouth. Yeah, that about that size.
Dude.
And it's just this glutinous, like gooey kind of
It's a delicacy.
pop.
A delicacy.
And I did it because I didn't feel like
yeah.
I could tell people to serve something that I wouldn't try myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Yeah. I tried it.
It grossed me out. So we had eyeball shots. So the deal was I'd pick it out for you and put it on a whatever plate, and you would eat it, and
Take
you'd
a
have a
shot.
shot of whiskey or whatever. It was like Old Crow or some delicious.
How much
whiskey.
meat though? How much meat do you get in that pig head?
In a half pig head?
Yeah.
It's not a ton. The snout's got
mean-
some goodies in there. Cheek, jowl.
Eyeball.
Eyeball.
Behind the eyeball.
Behind
Behind the eyeball.
Behind
huh?
the eyeball.
That's the best part.
I forget about that. There's
Yeah.
this little muscle.
Yeah.
It was like the oyster of the head. There was this little muscle that I think
Oyster
is
of
the
the
muscle
head.
that controlled the eyeball,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you think about cheek, go back to that. Think about how much movement
Yeah.
your mouth is and your cheek. Think about your eyes. Your
Yeah.
eyes are wiggling all the time. So
Seriously, yeah,
there's this
okay.
little nugget of muscle behind the eye. That was the shot.
Dude.
Yeah.
So how long? So if you had, I mean, you guys are doing half pig heads every night, whole pig heads once a week. So what's the difference in cooking styles between that? Not
Same.
much.
It's not much.
Yeah. How long? So how long you got to smoke that for?
8 hours. We'd probably smoke it for 5 and then wrap it for
Wrapped it
3 or 4
for
hours.
3. And you could
We also
I mean-
smoked it at a little higher temperature back then.
You
Yeah.
could
Probably smoke.
unwrap it and just kind of give it a jiggle,
Uh-huh.
and you'd see the actual face
Yeah.
fat and jelly kind of wiggle, and like perfect.
Yeah.
You just knew it was done.
Jiggle,
right?
jiggle.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
And had fed one of those to Ming Tsai.
yeah.
Yeah, Ming Tsai came in, and he was just, I set it down in front of him, and he was just like,
Who's that? You explain who that is.
You know Chef Ming
What?
Tsai, man?
No.
Come on,
He's the
bro.
OG.
East meets West. He's OG Food
dude.
Network, dog. Shout out to the guy.
He's a legend.
He's a legend.
You guys know who Christian Del Pesce is?
Of course,
What?
dude. He's a flair.
The Michael Jordan of flair bartending.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro.
Come on,
Yeah,
dog.
Do you
fucking
watch?
legend,
Is
bro.
there a Flair bartending channel on
Bro,
TV?
It's on the Food Network, yeah.
Mm.
It
Whole
was.
channel.
Back in the day, it was.
That's
yeah.
where I saw you. I think I saw you on there.
Yeah, maybe you
did.
could have made some appearances. Bro,
You had more hair back then.
I'd had a lot more hair.
Uh,
less stressed. A lot
Yeah,
less stressed.
Ming Tsai was just like, this is fucking top chef, Iron Chef guy, right?
Yeah.
Put this thing down in front of me. He's like, chef,
You
how do you, what do you, how do you,
You
what do
guys
I- what do
just
I
get
do?
in there, dude.
and we grab the tongs and just literally peel the bottom of the jaw skin, just rip,
Yeah.
and open it up and get after it. And start
Dude.
picking away.
That's what you used to always used to drop that and you just rip that fucking
It's pretty-
skin right
pretty
off.
weird, dude.
People were just like, oh, okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's cool. Dude, there was a good amount of meat in that whole pig had.
Oh yeah, there's quite a bit in the whole
Yeah.
one, yeah. For the feast, for sure.
Yeah. I think that guy's
busy.
lost, bro.
Busy day in the alley.
Dude, that guy's driven by like 4 times now. So if you had to choose one of these, the pork cheeks, the pork belly burnt ends, the copa, the porchetta, or the pig head to eat,
You know mine.
Pork cheek.
you go cheek? You still go cheek?
All day.
You'd still go copa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you know I might
Pork New York.
Pork New York, dope, dude. And it's funny though, like why didn't we put? When we smoke, not necessarily your southern style pork ribs or anything like that. We smoke pork. What do you call them? Long bone pork chops, tomahawk pork chops. That didn't make the list, even though we freaking love the heck out of those. But a lot of people do those. We want to do something a little bit different, a little bit unique. Why didn't you guys want to put pork ribs, just ribs, on here?
Go, Charlie.
Why?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can get them anywhere.
because
Well-
because there's a lot more meat on a pig than just ribs.
There is, yeah.
So
And
Absolutely.
and another answer to that question is we did try to do that once. And for us to, like Charlie said earlier, you want that chew, you want that bite on a bone, right?
yeah.
When people are doing pork ribs at home, like "Burp," the rib bones just fly right out.
Yeah.
That's overcooked, man.
Yeah.
That is
Right,
overcooked.
that is.
Right, it
That
is. And
is.
people are like, oh, look at these are delicious. Like, no, dude, that's not right.
The accordion,
You
right?
need that accordion kind of still textural integrity.
Yeah.
And for us, we would have to stagger those
Mm-hmm.
properly, which is really, really hard when we have a service from, back in the day, it was 4 to 10 or
Yeah.
midnight or whatever. So for us to properly, perfectly smoke those ribs, pull them out, let them rest, and then get them to hold them.
Yeah.
If you're an hour late for your reservation,
It's done.
they're gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
It's just overcooked, and it's like, I don't know.
And that's why I think obviously that's why a lot of our barbecue places are set up like that. They do
Exactly.
brisket, they do ribs, and they can't do a lot more than that because it's so hard because you're constantly
Plus,
rotating those things
Like,
out, right?
look at the Franklin model, right? They're people. They open at what 11 or something.
Yeah.
And people are lined up at 5:30, 6 o'clock with their lawn chairs in the morning,
Yeah.
waiting for that. So they're perfectly cooking that shit
For
and selling it out in an hour and a half.
yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's
can't
that's
hold
the
it.
whole perfect scenario.
And that's like, for us, when we have our specials, they're usually done by 8 o'clock, and we can't hold them longer than that. It's got to be, you come in here at 9 o'clock looking for a special.
Sorry.
And it's not good anymore.
Sorry, Charlie.
what?
I love it. Well, those are our top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes. Once again, number 1, pork cheeks. 2, belly burnt ends. 3, the copa or the collar. 4, the porchetta. 5, the whole pig head. Are we missing anything else, fellas, on pork? I know we love pork.
I don't
Finishing
know,
thoughts
man.
on-
We just did shoulders for street fair. That was
Yeah.
been a long time since I had a really good pulled pork sandwich.
That was
Pork
pretty
shanks
good,
are pretty good.
Pretty oh yeah,
Dude, yeah,
pork
you guys used to do the shanks, the fried pork shanks,
Forgot
too.
about
That's not a
that.
smoked item, so I left it off here.
It's not smoked, but
Bro.
you could smoke it.
Yeah, you could definitely do it.
That is such an
'Cause-
intense muscle.
But we confit it. And then
You could smoke
could
it
do both.
first,
Yeah.
then
So
confit it.
smoked,
So just
Very versatile.
and fry.
throw some color and then fry it.
Dude, that thing is so good, dude.
Melty.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That one does well here too. Well, should we wrap
Pork
up,
short
fellas?
ribs.
Well, yeah, pork short ribs,
apparently not.
dude. Forgot
Those were
about
good,
short
too.
ribs.
Yeah, dude.
Hard to come by, but real good.
Pork short ribs.
Right. So
I
that's
don't know
like
if I've had too many of those.
Yeah, we used to do them all the time.
we used to
Back
do.
back in
Remember
the day.
teeny tiny 3 bone.
Oh,
I'll show you where-
that's right.
I'll
dude.
show-
Why don't we get those?
Totally forgot.
It's
They're hard to
different.
get.
It takes a different way to break down a hog to
Yeah.
get that out.
Yeah, those ones. Oh man. So how do you do that real quick, and then we'll finish it up? 'Cause I know we gotta
Same.
go.
3,
That's
2,
the
1.
same. 3, 2,
Oh,
1.
so 3 to 1. So it's like the dino ribs, basically, of the cow, or the cow.
Of a
way,
pig.
way smaller.
But obviously
Yeah,
way smaller.
tiny.
Yeah,
But
tiny,
like,
tiny,
but
tiny.
in theory, that's what
Yeah.
that is.
Dude,
So it's
those
that really nice
pork
meat.
short ribs. If we did have that on the list, I would probably say that the pork
That-
short rib is probably my favorite. That muscle is,
Dude, those
Oh,
are crazy.
dope. yeah, it's like
The only thing I don't like about
baby
that is
back
they
ribs
just don't
on
look sexy.
steroids.
I try to take photos of that thing, and I'm just like, God damn it, dude! But it's so good. Well, let's wrap it up here, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for taking the time today to explain your top 5 favorite smoked pork dishes. We love pork. We don't want to forget about it. We talk a lot about beef. And actually later, Chef Tyler is going to be butchering a half hog here. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Wow, dude. He's going to teach me a couple things. So,
I'm not cutting it. You are.
oh, well, no, get my gloves on,
Better
man.
get your
Let's
saw
this
out, bro.
going, dude. Oh, have me saw it up. I love it. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. For the Lady J Meat Dudes, I'm Evan.
Tyler.
Charlie.
Booyah.
Dun, 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 dun.